Hi, welcome to episode 12 of You Started It. Take a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name is Daniel Fernandez. As you can see, I have a minor change on the podcast. I got myself a new microphone, so now both my hands are free and I can do this. I want to give you an update about live shows. From the looks of things, I don't think we'll be able to do any live shows for the rest of the years, but I still want to gig. So I've decided to do online shows on Zoom, and the first one's happening on the 27th of May at 11 p.m. IST. It's called Daniel Fernandez Hotbox. It's a crowdwork show. Tickets are already live. They went live on Instagram a couple of days ago, and there are just a handful of them left. So, if you want to get tickets, you should see a link on your screen right now, or check the description of this video. There's a ticket link over there as well. Buy your tickets soon and come see me. This particular show is for people in India only. I am working on doing international shows as well. I will make an announcement soon. So, make sure you're following me on Instagram for all updates. Now, after last week's episode, somebody commented that it was too short, and yeah, I kind of agree. It was just 16 minutes. But yeah, I just want to let you know that I hear you. And for this week's episode, I'm going to speak very slowly. I am feeling slightly overwhelmed because on last week's episode, I also spoke about how it doesn't make sense to me that religious institutions like the church have so much money and riches. And for the first time in my 9-year career, I managed to piss a few Catholics off. Oh man, it's really funny when Catholics get offended by jokes or anything else because the Bible says you're not supposed to. Okay, that's right, kids. I was raised in Sunday school. Okay, I know a few things. Sample this. Proverbs 19, verse 11 says, "Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense." Leviticus 19, verse 18 says, "You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against the sons of your own people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself." Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32 says, "Be kind to one another, tender hearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you." So, yeah, I forgive you for getting mad at me for suggesting that we should use the excess money that the church has to help the poor. Cool. By the way, is your sleep cycle totally messed up because of this pandemic? Like, I don't know what's going on, dude. Like, pre COVID 19, I used to fall asleep at around 3 a.m., but now, like, my whole sleep cycle is topsy turvy and I don't get sleep before 3:30 a.m. Damn weird, dude. Also, I've been having really strange dreams. Okay, the other night I dreamt that my ex from 2011 was accusing me of murdering someone from her family. And I'm like, what? Like, first of all, you don't keep in touch for so many years, and now you just show up in a dream and tell me that I've murdered someone. But she kept insisting that I did it, and I kept denying it because your boy is a lover, not a killer, okay? And then she disappeared. And then now suddenly I'm talking to some random strangers, and then her husband, the guy she left me for, shows up and confronts me. So I killed him. Yeah. Like some dreams are very satisfying that way, you know. But most dreams are weird, you know. Like every dream of mine feels like an episode of Rick and Morty. And do you guys like dream about celebrities? Like I have dreams about celebrities, but it's just one celebrity, okay? Alia Bhatt. Damn weird. Like this one time I had a dream where I was at this fancy apartment complex, and I'm walking towards some place and I see Alia there, and Alia sees me and she calls out to me and she's like, "Hey Dan, what are you doing here? I'm just heading out for a drink. Do you want to join me?" And in my head I'm just like, holy shit, yes, I will have a drink with you. But your boy, you know, he plays it cool with the ladies. So I was like, yeah, I don't know, I've got my car here, and you know, I don't want to drink and drive. And then she very sweetly says to me, "Leave your car here, you little bitch. We'll just take mine. I have a driver. I'm successful." So I said, "Yeah, sure. That sounds like fun." And then she was like, "Okay, I'll wait for you in my car in the parking lot. come soon. And now I'm walking to my car with a lot of swag, and I'm thinking to myself, I just fell asleep 30 minutes ago, so I have plenty of time in this dream. So Alia and I are going to have a lot of fun. So I go park my car, and now I'm walking back towards the parking lot to meet Alia. And I keep walking, but I'm not getting to the parking lot. And I'm just like, what is going on? And then I look around and I realize that as I'm walking, the world around me is passing me by on loop. Okay. I'm walking the same 50 feet over and over again. It's a bloody time loop, and I'm just not getting to Alia. And eventually I woke up, and now I just feel really bad that somewhere out there in a dream world, Alia Bhatt is sitting in a car in a parking lot waiting for me, thinking Dan is such an asshole. He just flaked. I shouldn't have broken up with Ranbir for him. But this is not the first dream I've had about her for some reason. And she's the only celebrity I dream about. I don't know. I don't know her personally. I've met her a couple of times, and dude, she's damn pretty. Um, but I think the reason why this is happening is because for the longest time, I used to have a crush on her. Like this one time I had a dream where she and I were dating, okay, like proper. And it was really frustrating because every time we went out, we would get hounded by her fans or the paparazzi. And I would just not get any time with her. And then there would be pictures of us in the newspaper saying Alia Bhatt spotted at so and so place with her comedian boyfriend. And I'm just like, dude, I have a name, okay? I'm not defined by my profession or my relationship to Alia. Have some respect. But it was cute. And then I remember in the dream we had a fight where I was like, can we please just go to another country where nobody knows you? And then she just went, okay, baby, let's take a short holiday. Okay, pack your bags and meet me in my car at the parking lot. All right, let's take some questions. This one's from Gaurav Kumawat. Hey, Daniel, love your podcast. Thank you. Can you please talk about the controversy surrounding Carrie Minati's deleted video, and also on the idea of roasting and bullying or harassing someone? Where should the line be drawn? The second question has nothing to do with Minati's video, just in general wanted a perspective about this, as I have come across many videos where the line of distinction between roasting and bullying seems to be neglected. I hope you will talk about this in the next podcast. Thank you. Okay, Gaurav, let me start with the difference between roasting and bullying. Okay, the word that separates the two is consent. Like in stand-up, we have roasts, as you may have seen on Comedy Central, where a lineup of comedians will take turns to roast each other and a celebrity guest of honor. And they say some really horrible stuff. That's funny, but also very insulting. But it works because everyone has agreed that whatever is being said is just in good humor. It's not meant to be taken personally. And the audience is in on it too, and everyone goes home happy. Okay, the balance of power in such a situation is equal. You may have seen something similar in a slightly informal setting where you're hanging out with your friends and you take turns to rib on each other. It's the same thing. You understand that you're all just messing around and there's no need to break each other's teeth. Like I do it all the time with my closest buddies. Like this one time I was at a very close friend's birthday party. It was a sundowner at the beach, and everyone's chilling in their little groups, and we're having a chat. And then some song played, which was kind of slow, and the group that I was hanging with wanted something a little faster. So I yelled out to the birthday boy, who was chatting with another buddy of mine, and I just said, "Hey man, can you please change the song? It's too slow." And he yells back, "Hey man, Harry and I like this song and we're having a moment." And in a blink of an eye, I yelled out across the room, and I just said, "That's really sweet, bro. Why don't you just give him a blowjob in the kitchen? But change the song." So yeah, that kind of stuff is okay, because everyone's in on it. Roasting becomes bullying when there's no consent. Like if you make fun of somebody who has less power than you, or somebody who hasn't provoked you in any way, or somebody who doesn't have the means or the skill to give it back to you. That's bullying, you know. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Um, with regards to this whole YouTube versus TikTok war, let me give you some perspective. Okay, let's prioritize pandemic, cyclone in West Bengal and Odisha, migrant worker issue, loss of jobs, loss of income, businesses shutting down, weird dreams about celebrities, humid weather, overripe bananas, YouTube versus TikTok. Like, if you wake up in the morning and the first thing you worry about is YouTube versus TikTok, then let me tell you that you have an amazing life. Go back to sleep. Okay. And also, like, it's a non-issue, man. This is a non-issue. Okay, a group of people from one platform hate a group of people from another platform. Okay, it sounds so familiar. Okay, but to call this a war, like, geez, there is an entire global industry that works hard to manufacture guns and ammunition and puts these weapons into the hands of people so that they can kill each other and millions of innocent bystanders. And you're calling a roast video or downvoting an app war? Show some respect to these people, okay? I mean, see, I think there might be a classist angle here, okay? YouTube videos are a little expensive to produce. So this content for the longest time was largely restricted to young urban middle class kids, you know. And suddenly with TikTok, you can now produce content with little or no expense. You know, all you need is a phone and an internet connection. So suddenly you see a lot of these kids from small towns who now have an outlet to express themselves, and these creators also have millions of followers. And maybe that doesn't sit well with some people on YouTube, which is why you see videos of YouTubers roasting TikTokers. I don't know, you know. Hey TikToker, मुझे प्यार तो कर. Hey TikToker. I feel that everyone should be allowed to create the content they believe in. Okay, like, and as an audience, if it's not for you, go watch something else. You know, like, I installed TikTok, I saw what it was all about, and I uninstalled it so fast. Like, I don't know, it's just not for me. I don't use it. But I don't understand this need to make fun of someone else's content on your platform. It's definitely classist, right? Like, you're just telling your fans, hey man, look at these lame small town folk with their lame videos. So I think maybe that's where it started. I don't know. But non-issue. It's not something you should be worrying about. Like, this TikTok thing has gotten a little weird though. I think some people are calling for a ban in India. Some people are asking for it to be banned. Apparently, even the guy who started the YouTube versus TikTok fight recently put out a video glorifying acid attacks on women, and then his account got suspended. And it seems like there's a whole bunch of misogynistic and sexist videos coming out on TikTok from all parts of the country. And people are not happy about that. So they figured that TikTok is the problem. And if we ban the app, the problem will go away. This is very similar to the boys' locker room incident, isn't it? And for some reason, it just seems like we just don't get it. Like, we just can't see what's right in front of us. Okay, like, there are people in India who genuinely believe that these youngsters are very pure and divine and chaste, and after they downloaded TikTok, the devil possessed them and turned them into these horrible monsters with streaks in their hair, you know. Dude, TikTok is an app. It's just an app that allows you to express yourself. Okay, and young India is expressing themselves. The app is a mirror, and you don't like what you see in it because it's ugly. You can ban the mirror, but you'll still be ugly, you know. And I'm sorry to be the one who has to say this, but this is what our culture is today. Okay, what you're seeing on TikTok has been in our movies, politics, and our families for decades. Where do you think these guys picked this up from? Huh? So stop acting surprised. Like, you can ban whatever you want, it won't matter. Our society is broken. I do feel though that I should talk about happier stuff, man. I don't know, like, every Monday I decide that okay, this week's episode is going to be light, and then somebody does stupid shit as the week passes, and then I'm like, oh man, now I gotta talk about this. Okay, let me see if there's another question that is slightly lighter than the last one. Okay, yeah, this one is from an Instagram AMA that I recently did. Okay, it says, why do you think some people are stuck in the friend zone forever? The friend zone. I get this question a lot. Every time I do an AMA, somebody or the other will always ask me a similar question about the friend zone. And I don't know why. I think there are boys out there who think that I am the Indiana Jones of dating. I don't know. Like, I survived this friend zone and I live to tell the tale. So let me see if I can clear some doubts here. Okay. The friend zone is this imaginary prison that men think they are sent to whenever women don't reciprocate their feelings, like, and almost every guy has had this phone call from a buddy, like, hey man, I told her I like her and she said she just wants to be friends, bro. She friend zoned me. What the fuck? I don't know what to do. Okay, look, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so I'm going to get straight to the point. Okay, the friend zone doesn't exist. It's not a thing. Okay, you're either friends with somebody or you're not. Like, when you meet a girl, you start off as friends, right? That's the first thing you do. You never meet someone and you're straight away going like, hi, want to be boyfriend, girlfriend? No. You got to get to know each other a little bit. Friendship is the starting point. It goes friendship, love, marriage, divorce, friendship. Yeah, that's the cycle. And if you try to skip a phase and you try to skip friendship and jump straight to love, then you're a creep. Because you can't just walk up to a girl and go, hey baby, I don't know you, but I love you. You can't do that. And now, as you're getting to know a girl, you may develop feelings for, and these feelings could either be sexual or emotional or both, and that's totally okay. But here's some information for you that might be surprising. Okay, she will most likely not have the same feelings for you, and that's totally okay as well, right? And at some point then you will tell her how you feel, and then she tells you that she doesn't feel the same way, and this is when your mind goes into shock. Like, you're thinking to yourself, like, like, I love this girl, but she doesn't love me. How is this possible? I am ravishing, I can do 2 push-ups, and I smell like Davidoff farted on me. That feeling that you're experiencing is called entitlement, but you call the same thing the friend zone. Now, maybe nobody has explained this to you before, like the way I have. So we're not going to judge, okay? It's okay. But I can tell you how to handle a situation like this, okay? So you told a girl you like her. She said she doesn't feel the same way and thinks that you guys should just be friends. Be a gentleman and say, okay, I can do that. And do it. Dude, let me tell you something, okay? Women also make for amazing friends. Some of my closest friends in the world are women, and it's really nice. I don't see why you should have only a one-dimensional idea of what a woman's role in your life should be. Try having friends who are also women, and then once you say, okay, I think I can do that, I can be your friend, don't hold on to the feelings, okay? Like, let those feelings go. If you hold on to it, then it becomes obsessive and it becomes toxic. And another thing people often do, a lot of guys try to do this whenever a girl says, hey man, I just want to be friends, they try to change her mind. Don't do that. Don't chase a girl, okay? You shouldn't have to convince anyone to fall in love with you. Like, I made that mistake once, and I'm going to talk about it in my comedy special, the next one. But trust me, you shouldn't do this. Like, don't try to change the way she feels about you. Like, don't try to convince her. If she says she just wants to be friends, just be a friend. let the feelings go, and move on with your life. Okay. See, it is possible that she could fall in love with you at a later point as the friendship develops, but don't put your life on hold, for her. Like this happened to me once where I met this girl years ago and we became friends. And then this one time we were in Goa together during the Christmas New Year week. And we went out a lot and spent a lot of time together. And I really started to like her. So I put myself out there and I told her how I feel. And she said she didn't want to go down that road with me because it would risk losing me as a friend. So I said, okay. And then it took me about a week to get over it, and then we became buds after that. Like we would talk about our love lives to each other. We would hang out with each other's respective partners, and then life just went on. And then a couple of years later, we both happened to be single at the same time, and we met again, and something just clicked. Like, I think it was mostly alcohol, but we both realized that we had very strong feelings for each other. But we couldn't get into a relationship because she was living in a different country at that time. So we spent a very romantic weekend together and then just went back to our lives. We closed that door and now we are buddies again. So yeah, it could go either way, but as I said, don't put your life on hold. Just move on, Dude, there are so many women in the world, okay? Humanity is an assembly line of incredibly attractive women. You just need to meet someone with really low standards and she'll fall for you. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap up this episode now, but I need to speak to you for a minute before I do that. A couple of things I want to tell you. Don't forget to like this episode, share it on your social media, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and follow me on Instagram. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing a bunch of Zoom shows. The first one is happening on the 27th of May at 11 p.m. IST. The ticket link is in the description below. If you want to pay for this podcast, which you should, no pressure, the payment link is in the description of the video as well. Also, I'm sure that you are aware that a cyclone, a very terrifying cyclone, has hit West Bengal and Odisha, and we're still getting news coming out of there in terms of what the damage is. But from the looks of things, it looks pretty bad. And there are a lot of people over there who are going to need help from the rest of the country. And I'm not really sure how much we can count on the government to do that. So if it is possible, please step up. I think there you will see information about charities and NGOs that you can donate to. I will share some information as well. If you can donate, please donate. If you can't, at least help get the word out. Please talk about this on your social media and make sure we try and do whatever we can to help our fellow brothers and sisters out. I'm going to wrap up here. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave your comments and suggestions below. My name is Daniel Fernandez. This has been an absolute pleasure. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.